Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fleet Europe's video podcast for the Fleet Week Electric and Connected. Today we are staying in Belgium as my guest is Wim Buzzi. He is the founder and managing partner at Let It Fleet. And Let It Fleet is a young but promising company with a lot of experience. Wim, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Steven. Thank you. I hope you are too.
Yes, I'm doing well, and it's nice to meet with you for this video podcast. Wim, for those that might not know Let It Fleet, why should they know your company?
Thank you, Steven. Well, like you said, we're a young and dynamic Belgian fleet and mobility consultancy firm that was founded last year by Alain Duet and myself. At the start of the summer, we've joined forces with Modal Mobility, a technology startup that provides software solutions within the corporate mobility domain. And as a result, we've now added mobility consulting to our portfolio, and we're focused on further developing software solutions that are tailored to help fleet and mobility managers audit, design, implement, and manage their future fleet and mobility policies.
You and your partner, Alain Duet, you have already a long track record in our industry. You both have also been dedicated international fleet managers, so you are experts in the field of fleet and mobility management. Why is it today so important for fleets to go for a carbonless employee mobility? And what are the key steps to do so?
Well, Steven, carbonless is the future. We can't deny the evolution our industry has undergone this century. And even just the last few years, it's been spectacular. There's been Europe's Green Deal, the rise of fleet electrification, but also more and more mobility policies coming into place. I think these are all clear indications that carbonless mobility is indeed the future. As to our knowledge as fleet and procurement managers in the past, this really serves our customers well. Our past experiences equips our customers with the so-called soft skills needed to succeed at any organization. Our experience gives our customers access to a network of people who have been there and done that. The approach that we have is structured on 4 steps. First, we have the analyze phase. Secondly, the plan phase. Thirdly, implementation phase. And then lastly, support. The analyze phase is of course the most important one, because in order to define where to go, we need to create transparency and insights. A good example is there that, for example, we will not only look at what types of mobility that are feasible, but we'll also collect data on what types of mobility are desired by your employees. Now, once we finalize the analysis, we can, using that information, make an evidence-based strategy. And that strategy serves the finance, HR, or even sustainability objectives of your company. We will have a look at some quick wins, but also at what does the implementation roadmap look like. In the implementation phase, the processes and mobility policy are aligned with the defined strategy. Suppliers are selected that match the strategy requirements by means of our procurement capabilities. And in support, lastly, we support the execution of that strategy. First of all, ensuring compliance of these new methods and practices in your policy. But that could also go to individual driver support when it comes to powertrain selection, for example, or it could be relating to your suppliers, ensuring ongoing competition, or setting up supply relationship management routines in order to increase your customer and stakeholder satisfaction. Where possible, we try to run fleet and mobility projects simultaneously, because we do see that both influence each other, and there are some data points that complement each other, or that add an important nuance to it. The end result is always a well-balanced total cost of mobility that takes into consideration all fiscal and taxation impacts, both for the employer and the employee.
Well, often corporate fleet managers, they have really good intentions and they start also a project quite well internally. But what we are seeing is that often it's the implementation phase where there is struggle. So my question is, what advice do you have to fleet managers to succeed from start to finish?
Well, first of all, and I've learned that from my own experience, don't cut corners. We all know sayings like haste makes waste, for example, but we take them for granted due to budget or resource constraints. For me, the first important phase is the audit phase, like I mentioned before. And there, your business case really stands or falls with the amount and the quality of data that you base your strategy on. So don't shy away from the workload, and as a result, the time spent in this first phase. And secondly, every business case is built on financial calculations. So total cost of ownership, or rather total cost of mobility calculations, are elementary. The taxation and fiscal incentives, and of course the evolution of those over time, must be taken into consideration. We pride ourselves on our TCO tools, which are easily tailored to the individual profile of each of our customers.
How do you see the company car, which is still the main asset today, if we talk about corporate mobility, in the context of carbonless mobility?
Well, again, a very good question, Steven. Athletic Fleet, we're car advocates. We love cars, and we still believe that they are the foundation of tomorrow's mobility management. Now, that these cars will be zero emission over time is quite obvious. But in our view, it's the ownership of these cars which is likely to change. We've all talked a lot about mobility as a service, and we now see it more and more coming to market, becoming a real alternative. And I think all studies have shown that in recent years, and particularly with younger generation, the focus is moving away from owning a vehicle towards valuing the mobility that a vehicle provides. So this is one of the main reasons why we advocate to run fleet and mobility projects simultaneously, because we see that the traditional setup for fleet is about to change going forward.
Final question, Wim. I know that you are a young company. You have a promising future ahead of you. What kind of initiative have you recently launched, or are you going to launch, that is interesting for our audience, international fleet and mobility managers, and that they will be positively surprised about?
Well, the most recent initiative is what I've mentioned before. It's combining that fleet electrification and alternative mobility assessment into one project. That's really one of our USPs today. But it goes without saying that with growing our company with the two new partners, the focus on software development will be a key objective for us. Now, I can't tell you much more about what's coming, but I can promise you that as soon as we have something new, you'll be the first one to know.
Okay. And if I'm not wrong, there is also an interesting white paper that we will publish, a white paper of Let It Fleet with Fleet Europe on fleeteurope.com. And that is also the place where you can follow the Fleet Week Electric and Connected. Wim Buzzi, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And I hope to meet with you soon, face to face, of course. To the audience, if you like this podcast, share it with your colleagues, and don't forget to watch the episodes of the Fleet Week Electric and Connected in the Knowledge Center of fleeteurope.com. Thank you very much.